Hello everyone, and thanks to the organizers for sharing the opportunity for me to present in this forum. In this session, I'll talk about understanding consumers' behavior with various machine learning techniques and how we can use natural language processing to get more insights from the consumers' data. Now, a little background about myself. This is Veena Mokal. I'm a data scientist holding MBA in Business Analytics and Masters in Statistics. In my current profile, I'm responsible to drive data science, analytics, and digital programs at Unilever R&D. So apart from R&D, I have also worked in BFSI, FMCG, and consumer electronics in my earlier experience. Now, before moving further to the actual topic of today's discussion, I would like to stress upon the importance of consumer behavior analytics and why it is necessary in today's world, right? So in recent years, advancement in the internet connectivity, which has brought significant opportunities to the consumers and shoppers. And because of this new era of internet connectivity, rapidly rising e-commerce enterprises, which have started to build a real big data. The enormous popularity of this big data on social media, which allows the purchasers or the buyers to voice their opinions and views on a wide range of the topics, such as the status of the economy, or to express their pleasure and displeasure with certain items or services, and express their satisfaction with their purchases, and etc. So, why these consumers or what these consumers need in this? So, as you can see on the right hand side, where the process consists of multiple steps. So, every consumer goes through each and every steps which has been mentioned over here, which is product awareness, the interest about the product, the consideration about the different services and the products, the evaluation which is the second last stage of a final a touch view to understand what this product is and how it is worthy buying that product and etc. And at the end buying these products. Now this entire process is linked with the different types of reviews and feedbacks which are available, and thanks to the internet which gives the easy access to the social media and the e-commerce for us. So now the consumers reviews are the most unbiased forms of the feedback, which gives the understanding what they like about our product and what they dislike about our product and what they like about our competitors' products. And hence understanding the psychology behind online consumers' behavior and making this information available in a readable format, which becomes the key to compete in ever increasing competitions and globalization era. So now when we are seeing the reviews and feedbacks at the baselines and an easy way to understand consumers' behavior, next it will be of interest to know more about what are the technologies which can drive this to get the insights from this kind of a data. Now we'll learn about quickly about the machine learnings and AI. And now some of you must be aware of what is AI, artificial intelligence means. But let me take an opportunity to explain very quickly what is AI and what are the other branches of AI. So artificial intelligence is a wide-ranging branch of computer science concerns with the building smart machines capable of performing tasks that typically requires human intelligence. Now, these definitions explain most of the part what AI is, especially in the words which says human intelligence. These processes which are linked with this AI needs constant learning and mostly from the history data or from the experiments which are performed or through simulation where machines learn from their mistakes, learns from their output and add the knowledge which is derived from each step in the next step. So just like we learn to walk every step, this is nothing but the deep level of AI, which is nothing but machine learning. Now, if we go to a further deep level, there are a few examples which are mentioned for the machine learning as well. A further deep level of AI or the machine learning, which is nothing but the deep learning, which is a subset of the machine learning technique that teaches the computers to do what comes naturally to the humans, learning by examples, and which is essentially a neural networks with a higher levels of layers and etc. Now, deep learning distinguishes itself from the classical machine learning by the type of data that it works with and the methods in which it learns. Deep learning models can achieve the state of art accuracy, sometimes exceeding human level performance, and etc. Now, these models are trained by using a large set of level data and neural network architecture that contains, such an examples with many layers, as I mentioned. So, with this quick background on AI, machine learning, deep learning, few examples where the businesses are using AI in the consumers' data are nothing but few I mentioned, which is predicting trends from consumer buying behavior, helping to define effective market campaign and content marketing, providing enhanced consumer experience through different marketing channels, understanding consumer sentiments, which is text mining essentially through the social media data, and it also includes the e-commerce data, consumers conversion and churn rate, especially in the in the FMCG sectors, and probably I'll definitely mention about banking sectors, banking and finance sectors, where the loyalty plays a major role. Now, this with this, it's very clear that AI will continue to influence consumers' behavior, and it will result in increasing in a better consumer expectations. Now, consumers' loyalty, spending, etc. And in the next slides, we will see how the NLP, which is the one of the major part of AI methodology, which is a part of machine learning and deep learning, is helping to extract the information in an easy way. So in this slide, we'll talk about natural language processing and what are the different steps in this natural language processing. So first of all, what is NLP? So it's a rule-based modeling of a human language with statistical machine learning and deep learning models, and together with these technologies which enables computer to process human language in the form of text or voice data, and to understand its full meaning, complete with the speakers and or writers intent and sentiments, a very much similar way as we humans do. Now, this technique, which helps in what we call as a sentiment and text analysis, are the applications of the big data analysis and aim to aggregate and extract the emotions and feelings from different kinds of text and data. Now, as you are aware of the big data, which has grown tremendously in the last decade and is growing exponentially with the highest speed every day, is mainly available in an unstructured format, and they are not machine processable or interpretable, right? So therefore the use of natural language processing, NLP, machine learning techniques, is very much essential, which focuses on extracting these opinions from a huge unstructured format of information. Now that this slide explains most of these steps, and let me walk you through in the approach, modeling approach, with the steps which are involved in this. These steps will be explained in detail, and we'll have an overview in this slide. So there are mainly 5 steps, which is first of all data pre-processing and feature extraction. So as you must be aware that any data science model always go through a cleaning of the data and text, review text which are in unformat structure, which are available on the web and social media and e-commerce data, which needs the cleaning of the data so that the clean data can be processed through the further steps. So these steps involve most of this cleaning and extracting the features from the text data. The next stage is nothing but the data analysis and visualization. So what happens into this? So before jumping into the actual model, we always have a visualization done to understand the trend of the data, to understand the insights of the data, what that data is talking about, and based on that we decide which model will be the best fit. So similar to the rest of the data science techniques, NLP also uses the visualizations at a very early stage and the data analysis based on the cleanup data. Now, the next stages are pretty much independent, probably I'll say the third and fourth one. The third one, which is the sentiment analysis. And when I talk about sentiment, there are three types of sentiment normally which we refer, which is negative, neutral, and positive sentiment. And the sentiment analysis or the text analysis is basically the extracting the feeling from the text, right? So based on the process clean data, your data text will be divided into multiple segments, multiple matrices. As I mentioned, NLP is a rule-based modeling, and based on the location, the weightage that word, sentiment word would be having, the score will be given to that particular sentence, at this stage. And it will be grouped, segregated into whether it's a negative, neutral, or positive sentiment based on the kind of score which will be given in this stage. The next is topic modeling. As I mentioned, it is independent of the earlier stage. So what's happened in this stage? So again, you must have heard of word cloud, right? So what it gives you, the most talked or most frequently talked about words. So in this topic modeling, the exact or similar, stages happens. So the entire text is segregated into the multiple topics and the key topics, probably I'll say. When I say a key topic, so say for example, in a set of review data, if the natural is a word which has been spoken multiple times, it becomes a key topic, and all the reviews which are talking about the natural as a word will move or will flow into those clusters. So this is nothing but a classification of cluster based on the different key attributes or the topic which has been spoken in these words, and this segregation happen based on the kind of frequency of the of these words. Now based on these all four stages, the last stages is nothing but a predictive capability of this model. So as mentioned, NLP is nothing but a machine learning and deep learning model. It learns from the historical data. So right, so all the historical text reviews which have been given, the model learn from that. And whenever you add the new data based on the structure which has been defined, based on the weightage which has been given into stage number 3 and 4, a similar way, the new weightage will be given for the new data. And that's how the predictive model happens here. And the new model will be classified whether it's a good review or it's a bad review, right? So whether based on the negative, neutral, and positive sentiments. So these are the very much about the 5 steps which are mentioned into this step, and we'll see details of each stages in the next slides. So the next slides will talk about the approach more in detail. And let's start with the very key stages which are involved into this. The very first stage is data pre-processing and the feature extraction. So what exactly happens in this process is, as I mentioned, this is one of the major stage of any NLP model, in which the raw data from the data sources are getting formatted as per the requirement which is being used for building the NLP model. So in this stage, punctuation, stop words, URL links from the reviews, the HTML tags, any special character like emojis, emoticons are removed, and the text get converted into a clean format in a lowercase. And then in the final stage, the text cleaning performs a spelling check and it corrects grammatically. So why it is so important? As I mentioned, there will be different sentences in a different format and different tenses, right? So all these things will be removed. So walk and walking, so that ing or ed which has been attached to the word verb will be removed, and you get a clean sentences form, to process for the next stage. Now moving towards the next slide, which is the feature extraction. So this is the next stage. So once your data is processed, the clean data is then processed to extract the features or the variable that helps to understand the distribution of the review text. Now this is to give you the idea of what insights you will be building and what kind of data you are passing through for an NLP model. It gives you the distribution of your characters, numerical values, lowercase words, the average word length, and the whole process happens over here. So both this data processing and feature extraction happen in the very first stage, and this complete the very first stage of data processing to proceed further. So the next stage is data analysis and visualization. The pre-processed text data from the earlier stage needs a further understanding before it gets processed into sentiment analysis. This data analysis and visualization on the review text helps to understand the distribution of different features extracted, which generates distribution plots for word and character counts, word length, ratings, number of characters in the review, number of words in the review, average length of the word, uppercase for the reviews, and etc. So all these example what you can see on the screen are been extracted by using the Python script on NLP, and as mentioned in detail as you can see on screen. Now moving towards the next slide to showcase you one of the powerful capabilities of NLP is to generate a word cloud from the review text. Now this word cloud relates the review text keywords with the respective attributes and most frequently spoken words, and gives you the understanding what this entire set of sentences are talking about. Is one of the basic exploratory stage to understand, before moving into the modeling stage. And in this stage, which is also called as a classification stage, where rules are defined to classify the review data into good and bad reviews. Now, this review text grouping will be used to perform the sentiment analysis and predictive modeling in the stage 3 and 4. The next slide will talk about sentiment analysis, and this section mainly focuses on generating the sentiment scores for the review text data. Sentiment analysis also referred as opinion mining. It is an approach to the natural language processing that identifies the emotional tones behind the body of the text. It works by breaking the entire message into a topic chunks and then assigning a sentiment score. Now the sentiment score will be calculated by various methods which we'll talk about. Now in this example we have considered three types of sentiments, of course positive, neutral and negative. However, one can also use the fine-grained sentiment analysis which consists of 5 different sentiments: very positive, neutral, negative and very negative. As I mentioned, there are various types of techniques which are there to calculate the sentiment scores, and there are three main techniques. Rule based. In this, the system automatically performs the sentiment analysis based on the set of manually crafted rules, and those are stemming, tokenization, part of speech tagging, and parsing, and etc. The second method, which is automatic, where the system rely mainly on the machine learning techniques to learn from data. So the learning techniques such as support vector machine, names, bias, regressions, etc. will be used in this case. And the third one is the hybrid, in which the system combines both the rule-based and the automatic approaches. In this example, I have used the rule-based Python scripting, which uses the stemming, tokenization, the part of speech tagging, etc. to calculate the sentiment score with the help of polarity and subjectivity. Now, what is polarity and subjectivity means? So, just by definition, polarity simply means the emotions expressed in the sentence. So, emotions which are very closely related with the sentences, such as the strength of the sentiment or the opinion, typically linked with the intensity of the certain emotions, such as joy and anger. So in Python code, polarity is a float which lies between the range of -1 to 1, where 1 means it is a positive sentence or positive polarity, -1 means a negative sentence or negative polarity. Now the second part, which is the subjectivity. Subjective sentences generally refers the personal opinions, feelings, views, beliefs, or the judgments and a strength. So, which is also a float which lies between 0 to 1. So that if I consider polarity and subjectivity and see the difference, subjectivity is nothing but the strength of the emotions, like how much negative sentences is or how much positive sentence this is. Just like I like the phone, and I like the phone very much. Right, so both parameters are extracted from the review text using NLP algorithm to understand the overall sentiment. The next slide will talk about topic modeling. So topic modeling is a process of identifying topics in the set of documents or a method of finding the group of words which provides the quantitative insights. It enables search engine on the topics of the document that are important and helps in discovering the hidden topical patterns that are present across the text. There are multiple methods of doing this. However, I have used LDA as a method. Now, LDA is a form of unsupervised learning that views documents as a bag of words. Now, it works by making a few key assumptions, the way documents were generated by picking up the set of topics, and then for each topic, it picks up the words. Now, this also includes creating the dictionary from processed documents containing the number of times the word appears in the training set, creating TF and IDF model objects, running LDA using the bag of word and TF IDF models, and then performance evaluation by classifying samples documents using both these methods, and etc. So the steps which are involved into this, which are the you can see on the screen. The next slide also talks about few screenshots which are considered while working on this model. And the final stage of NLP modeling, which is the predictive modeling stage. As I mentioned, this is actually dependent on the third and the fourth stage. However, it is a little bit of independent in a sense that it will use all these cleaning processes, topic accuracy modeling, sentiment analysis, which has been done in the earlier stage. However, this can be also done using the ratings number as well. So in that sense, it is probably I'll say a independent stage where one can use the rating sentences to have the predictive modeling done. Now, the objective of this phase is to develop the modeling methodology that classifies the new inputs review text into good or bad reviews. So, in this example, we have considered the scores which are given, the numbers which are given for the reviews 1 as a good review and 0 is the bad reviews. When I say bad, it's the negative reviews. And the classification accuracy and validation of the model becomes the key criteria to select the model, which we'll see what are the criteria which we are used here. So the entire process divided into multiple stages, such as the data sets with good and bad reviews, negative reviews, with 1 and 0 as a number which has been given, and then dividing the data sets into training and testing part. And this 80% of training data which goes into predictive modeling to develop the models using various methods using the training data, and then validating the model into testing data. And then this model accuracy and the prediction will be tested by using various methods such as the ROC, the confusion matrix, and etc. and all. And any change or iteration which happens during this stage, where if the accuracy is not great, you can reiterate or regenerate the model to till the level you are getting the expected accuracy criteria. And then finally the validation of the final model using the additional data sets which are you have kept outside, which is not been used to build a training set, which is the 20% of data to understand and finalize the criteria. Now, these predictive models can be developed using both supervised and unsupervised learning methods. For the study, which covers the listed modeling techniques, as you can see on the right hand side, which is Naive Bayes, which includes the Gaussian, multinomial, and Bernoulli methods, and logistic regression fitting model. The next slide, where you can see some of the few screenshots about the confusion matrix and model performance. And this everything has been done using the Python coding. The slide number 70, which is the next slide, which actually talks about the ROC plot, which is one of the important criteria to validate the model. And the the functionality of ROC is the more the coverage, better the model. And as you can see on the screen, the different models which are plotted, and logistics seems a good, perfect model for to go further. And not only the ROC, but the other criteria also, where the logistic was performed better than the other models. There is a video which I have created on the various stages, and I would like to run it for you. I hope this session was useful. Please feel free to drop any questions if you have. Good day.